Broadcasting from the Fence One Studios. Voted #1 contractor in North Alabama. 94.1 WHRP. Gurley, Huntsville, Decatur. A Cumulus media station.
Tony, yeah! Tony, in the morning. Tony, in the morning. Waking up your world. Tony, in the morning. Tony, in the morning.
94.1 WHRP.
Today's best variety of R&B, 94.1 WHRP, Century and Only Human on this Wednesday, Hump Day, and welcome to it, PT. Everybody's talking about the Diddy trial.
Man.
You know, there's so many things that are coming out of it. Of course, we're wondering if Cassie's going to get on the stand and testify, but recently, singer Wale, he's shutting down rumors that Diddy hung him over a balcony.
They said that Wale was hung over a balcony by his ankles.
Ooh.
Like this was a movie in the 5 heartbeats.
I'm telling you.
An American Gladiator is coming back, Tony. Oh, I can't wait. Because, remember the helmets and the bigger people? I liked it because the average person was competing.
Right.
And it looked like the guy that was on everything you had to go against.
You should try out for it.
I want to.
You
I
should.
want to. I'm game on for it.
All right. And you heard about this, the Alabama tax breaks. Now, this will be really nice for moms, but more importantly for all of us because they say they're going to give us taxes on groceries.
Ooh.
Yeah, later this year.
Mm-hmm. Now, while you're getting your taxes and everything taken care of, make sure you get your ID. The real ID is in real effect right now, and people are already having issues.
Making another phone call for another Best Girlfriend. The Best Girlfriend's Night Out is happening Saturday. Oh, the Queen's Tour. Yes. And when I call, you got to say two things. I'm a queen, and you can win. All right. Tony in the Morning with DJ Primetime 256 on 94.1 WHRP. It's your best girlfriend, Tony Terrell, and you can stream us live every single day at WHRPFM.com. Check in now and catch up with Tony in the Morning weekdays from 6 to 10 at WHRPFM.com. Just click the purple button. Where them fans at? Boots on the ground, 803 Fresh on 94.1 WHRP. Tony in the Morning, and PT, I guess you heard the rumors about Wale. Everybody keeps saying that Diddy had hung him over a balcony like a gangster.
Like he was Big Red.
You know what You're just like Big Red. And Wale said, no, I ain't never got in an altercation with him or anybody else. I never had anything, no beef, nothing in the industry. I had a close call, he says, but not with Diddy.
A close call.
Definitely it was somebody who was trolling. Otherwise, he said, no, Diddy never hung him over.
And then it's crazy because he's like the perfect person to kind of pick on when it comes to the rap industry. He's kind of a laid back, melodic type rapper.
Person to pick on.
So it's like Wale, but because if they went after, if he said 50 Cent, if they said 50 Cent's name, it'd be a completely different story.
It would be a real story.
They go after the nice guy.
Yeah.
Well, I don't believe Wale got. I hope he didn't.
No,
I hope he didn't.
He says he didn't. He said he had some close encounters with somebody else, but it wasn't Diddy. So keep Diddy's image over there because he's everybody's trying to tie everybody into a Diddyism basically these days.
If your name is being called out, now's probably the best time to drop a record. You're getting that free promo.
Right. But do you remember when all the parties were going on, the white parties and the freak offs and everything, and people were like wishing they could be at a Diddy party?
Now
glad you didn't get the invite. Right.
It's Tony in the Morning, 94.1 WHRP. We looking black in the day.
Was that black?
We're looking back in the day.
Back.
Back.
Well, back in the day, Clara Stanton Jones was born on this date. May 14th, 1913, became the first African-American director of the Detroit Public Library and first African-American president of the American Library Association. That's back in the day. On this date, back in the day, in 1787, where were you?
Ooh.
Delegates meet in Philadelphia to draw up the U.S. Constitution. All right, the patent for Vaseline was granted on this date
Thank you,
in
Jesus.
1878. No more ass, right? De La Soul releases their third album, De La Soul is Dead, featuring Saturdays and also Ring, Ring, Ring on this date in 1991. The final episode of Seinfeld aired on NBC and over 76 million people watched in 1998. The final episode of Brandy's sitcom, Moesha.
Mota.
That aired in 2001. And in 2016, a week after its release, Beyonce's Lemonade album, well, all 12 hit songs hit the Billboard 100 charts. Wow. All right, celebrities celebrating birthdays and famous people, too.
Raphael Sadiq, forever lead singer of Tone It, Tone. He had hits Anniversary, It Never Rains, Feels Good, plus solo hits, Ask of You, and She Keeps Calling, just to name a few. We also have 90s hitmaker Shanice Wilson with hit songs I Love Your Smile and Silent Prayer. Facebook creator and owner of Instagram, Mark Zuckerberg, celebrating his birthday today, as well as movie director and producer George Lucas. He gave us Star Wars and Indiana Jones. We also have 4-time Super Bowl champ Rob Gronkowski celebrating his birthday today, and the fifth guy in the New Kids on the Block, Danny Woods. Find more celebrity birthdays on our Facebook page at 94.1 WHRP.
And it is National Buttermilk Biscuit Day.
Ooh, that's what I'm talking about.
Put a little butter, a little jelly, a little syrup on there.
Sounds so good.
Add some eggs and some bacon. Oh, my goodness. Go back to bed.
Come on
All
now.
right, that's Black in the Day, back in the day. Tony in the morning on 94.1 WHRP.
The Tony in the Morning Show on 94.1 WHRP. Let's check into our local news on WHRP.
What? Big Daddy Kane.
No, stepping.
Well, it's the smooth operator. 94.1 WHRP. Tony in the morning and DJ Primetime 256. I don't know why, but we're back in the 80s.
It's crazy.
83 degrees is predicted. A little bit of rain, not like yesterday, but a little bit of pop-ups this afternoon, because yesterday was a good soaker.
Tony,
yesterday was a good soaker.
This weather is killing my allergies.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm walking around. I can breathe. I can't breathe, but I can breathe. And there's stuff, but it's not stuff. And it's running.
Is your
and
nose swollen?
Everything. It feels like
Does it feel like it?
It feels like my sinuses.
Your eyes are
like
really
coming
tight.
through.
Like, yeah.
Then my eyebrows are getting puffy.
Oh.
Yeah, I just.
I thought, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. Never mind what I thought.
I wish.
Oh, my goodness. Well, listen, the Old School Blues Festival is happening.
Yes.
Memorial Day weekend, Saturday. You want to be at the Huntsville Dragway, and a chance for you to see Big Daddy Kane, Isley Brothers.
The Isley Brothers.
Latasha Scott, Lattimore, and I'm telling you, the list goes on and on.
It's
We got
gonna
the
be a show.
details on our website. People have been signing up. We've been making phone calls. But in the next hour, somebody's going to win.
Get that W. Uh-oh.
Hello.
Uh-oh.
So make sure you're checking in with us in the next hour for your opportunity to win tickets to the Old School Blues Festival. It is time for the good news in the neighborhood.
Good news in the neighborhood. Pine Grove Missionary Baptist Church will be hosting their Pine Grove Community Health Fair. This will take place May 24th from 8 a.m. till noon. Huntsville Hospital's mobile unit will be out there giving out free blood screenings, as well as men's and women's health and suicide prevention classes will be out there. And they will have veteran yoga projects. For this and other good news in the neighborhood, check out our Facebook page at 94.1 WHRP.
The Good News in the Neighborhood is sponsored by Alabama A&M. Learn more about Alabama A&M University by visiting aamu.edu today. Alabama A&M University.
94.1 WHRP, Tony in the morning and DJ Primetime 256. That is DJ Sir Thurl on them tables this morning as we celebrate the one and only Raphael Sadiq of Tony
Yes.
from the Bay
Area.
There's no place like the A area. What? Okay, all right, I had a moment. I'm back.
Bring it back, Tony. Bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back.
You can take the girl out the bae, but you can't take the bae out the girl. I'm just saying. All right. Yeah. It's good to be in the Tennessee Valley, though, and hope you're having a nice Wednesday hump day. Thank you for starting your time and your day with us. We really appreciate you. And all eyes and ears on the trial of Sean Diddy Combs.
Ooh wee.
I know he probably wished he stood and didn't change his name. He was better when he was Puff.
He was just should have just been Puff.
When he got to Diddy,
man,
did he do it or did he not?
Man, it's looking like he did.
My goodness, this trial is just so intense. And yesterday, for the first time in about 6 years, Cassie and Diddy see each other in person in court. And so the government calls Cassandra Ventura to testify.
Yeah.
And of course, when she first started hanging around Diddy, she was saying, I'm like many other entertainers who just wanted to be around him, to be around all the excitement.
Because everything,
hit maker and all that.
Yeah. Super producer.
All that. And so she said, it really started out as just that. An entertainer who was trying to get their feet wet, basically. And wow, not many people could rub elbows with Diddy.
Yeah,
close.
Especially at that point in time in his career.
Right.
She said the entire relationship started off platonic. Then they started building from there, and then things started to get crazy.
Yes, she said she fell in love with him, and everything was cool until they got closer and closer and closer, and then that's when the personality of Diddy reportedly from Miss, Cassie, that it started shifting. And she said you could make the wrong face, and the next thing you knew, you were getting hit. And she says if she was a brat or something or whatever, that he would let her know, and he would fix her face and tell her to watch your mouth. So now you have somebody, that's really dominating this relationship.
Everything she got going on. So she said if she didn't pick up the phone, that he would either come over there or send some staff over there to find out where she's doing, what's going on. Crazy.
Yeah. So the description of what she shared is really heartbreaking to hear. Yesterday, she was on the stand. They say she will return again today and have more to say because the questioning just got started.
It just got started. Yeah. And both sides get an opportunity to question her as well. So this is gonna get real interesting.
Yeah, it is. But nonetheless, no cameras, just artists sketching. People have been standing in line to get into the courtroom to hear it. A lot of his family members were there yesterday, including his children. And they heard some things they probably never heard before. Yeah, the description has been very intense, and that was just day one.
Right. It's only going to, it continues.
Yeah, it continues. Stick around. We're going to give you an opportunity to win those tickets to the Old School Blues Festival right here at 94.1 WHRP.
94.1 WHRP.
The latest gossip headline.
Here she goes, up in everybody's business.
Tony's Tattletale.
Did you hear about what happened?
Tony's Tattletale.
Tony's Tattletale. Is any of this true?
Tony's
Mama Knowles
Tattletale.
has a new book, and a lot of people are saying it's a good one, too. It's already on the bestsellers list. But most recently, she said and shared why she divorced actor Richard Lawson. Not fine, Richard Lawson. She did, and she said basically it was because she deserved so much better. How many people stay in relationships and don't realize that ain't the one? She just went ahead and said, you know what? He's got a lot of great qualities, just not enough for me. Woo, Mama Knowles when to leave. All right. Damson Idris is going to portray the great late Miles Davis in an upcoming film. Can't wait to check that out because there's a man, when you talk about music, is full of great stories, no doubt. And get ready for the roller coaster ride. Plus, congratulations to Janet Jackson. She's going to receive the Icon Award at the American Music Awards, and it's happening May 26th. Congratulations
Congrats,
to
Janet.
Miss Janet. Nasty. Oh, never mind. All right. It's not the word. It's what I heard. It's just Tattletales.
Now you're in the know about other people's business. From Tony's Tattletale on 94.1 WHRP.
Kevin Ross, Love in the Middle, 94.1 WHRP. Tony in the morning. Tony, have you got your IDs, your driver's license updated yet? Huh? Did you get your real ID yet?
I'm real.
Oh man, the way you walk, the way you talk.
I'm just gonna have you come with me and say, no, that's really her.
Nah, Tony,
No.
you got to get the real
my
ID.
goodness.
Like, so a lot of people are going to be traveling because of Memorial Day's coming up,
Right.
And even with me recently traveling, the real ID is an issue at a lot of airports already. So,
Yeah.
and then receiving them. So there's a story about a lady in Florida who couldn't find her birth certificate, had driver's licenses for years and years to come, but one of the requirements is a birth certificate or a passport.
Right.
Didn't have one, couldn't travel, stuck at the airport.
No.
What do you do?
So was
if-
she like she got on a plane and
booked the flight?
flew somewhere?
No, it was going to fly out.
Oh, okay.
But they required the real ID.
I know I
in
saw
order
a
to get-
report recently that said if you don't, because they're giving a little bit of a grace
They're
period,
trying to get there. Yeah.
right? That you're probably going to need to be there 3 hours before your flight so they can thoroughly investigate and look into your background.
And that's it. That's if they
That's
allow
if-
you to go through TSA.
Exactly.
Because it's like certain states are real
They're not-
sticklers on it. So
Exactly.
you may be able to fly into one state, but not be able to fly back
Come back
out.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't
Gonna
get-
have to be busting it. And like I said, a lot of people are going to be traveling over Memorial Day weekend. So if you plan on catching any type of flights, please know the rules and regulations before you get there.
Yeah, because that's going to be sad. If you already booked last year because you wanted to get a good price and then you didn't get that ID.
And we've been telling them for months now, Tony.
94.1 WHRP. 94.1 WHRP.
Let's get into it with Black History Facts with O.C. Maddox Jr.
Today on Black History Facts, we honor the uncompromising voice of William Monroe Trotter. He was a Harvard graduate, newspaper editor, and fearless advocate who challenged racism at the highest level of power. He was born in 1872, grew up in a household that valued education, dignity, and defiance. By 1895, he became one of the first Black Americans to graduate magna cum laude from Harvard University. That was a bold achievement in a deeply segregated America. But William Monroe Trotter was not interested in simply fitting in. He also used his pen and presence to confront injustice, especially during the harsh years of the Black Codes and Jim Crow. It was in 1901 that he co-founded the Boston Guardian. That was a newspaper dedicated to exposing racial oppression and calling out the dangerous philosophies of accommodation. He also openly challenged Booker T. Washington's approach to racial uplift. He argued that it compromised the dignity and full citizenship of Black Americans. But perhaps Trotter's most legendary moment, it came in 1914 when he confronted President Woodrow Wilson at the White House over federal segregated policies. He stood firm and told Wilson directly, and I quote, "We are American citizens. We have a right to protest against unjust treatment, against discrimination, and against segregation," end quote. Well, President Wilson, he was shocked by the confrontation and ordered Trotter to leave. But history remembers who stood on the right side of justice. Trotter also once said, "My country, right or wrong. If right, to be right and kept right. If wrong, to be set right." William Monroe Trotter's legacy teaches us that silence is not strength, that the press, protest, and principles must work together to bend the arc of justice. In today's world, with voting rights under siege, DEI policies being dismantled, and truth being challenged, Trotter's example reminds us never to be afraid to confront power when it stands in the way of justice, even among our own. So be proud, my friend, and continue walking in the legacy of our brave ancestors who lived their lives boldly in the face of racial microaggressions in the United States. I'm O.C. Maddox Jr. for Black History Facts. And until next time, stay informed, stay inspired. and keep on making history.
Your morning Black History Facts is sponsored by OMJ Media Design. Find them on Facebook, OMJ Media Design.
Arrested Development and People Every Day on 94.1 WHRP Wednesday Hump Day. Tony in the morning and DJ Primetime 256. And this is a situation that happened. You and I were on vacation when this whole accident, and it was just trending everywhere. This truck driver who was on I-65. And he started just hitting cars after cars after cars after cars, causing a fatal accident and claiming the life of a young guy that a lot of people know.
Yeah, it's crazy, the reports on here. The fact that that he's been in vehicle accidents before as a truck driver with CDLs. They go through this thorough thing, and don't get me wrong, I understand truck drivers get stressed, but the fact that the officer stated that the man had drank a water bottle full of tequila,
right, took
a nap, and then hopped right back on the road.
And had other substance as well, they discovered. Killing William Hardrick. This is a guy who played football for Austin P.E. State University, and now they have said they are charging him with murder. Yeah. Yes, the truck driver has been charged with murder. And I know yesterday he had to face the judge at Limestone Court, right down the street from us in Athens, and that they were doing a trial. Not a trial, but he was facing the judge for a possible bond.
Yeah, for a bond hearing.
Yeah, bond hearing. Yeah. So John McAdams is charged with murder, driving under the influence, and leaving the scene of an accident. So there were other multiple collisions, and people got hurt, but he killed someone.
He struck multiple vehicles out there. Yeah, reckless.
Now they had an interview with the uncle of Mr. Hardrick, and they say that the uncle was saying he also drives a big rig, and he knows about the stress, and he was just taken back that this guy would put so many people at risk and drink and do what he did behind that big vehicle. That is a huge vehicle. Yeah. Man. So, but they are definitely going to put a lawsuit against this guy. Yeah. And the family should. And it's not just him. It's the company he works for. Like it trickles down so much. There's so many people that's at risk right now because of what he did. Not only the people that he hit, but it goes down a rabbit hole. 94.1 WHRP, today's best variety of R&B. Tony in the morning and DJ Primetime 256 Wednesday, which means we get a chance to talk to Dr. Whitney West for Wellness Wednesday. Good morning, Dr. West.
Morning, Dr. West.
Good morning. How's everybody?
Good. Feeling pretty good. You know, I'm a lie anyway when I see you. I don't want no appointments. But doing good, Dr. West. And I like the topic that we're going to talk about because there's a lot of women who suffer from this, especially after hormonal changes, maybe even pregnancies and stuff. Hair loss, hormones and hair loss. Tell us a little something about that.
Hormones play a huge role in our hair cycle, right? Because there's a cycle, growth and then shedding. Estrogen in particular helps keep your hair in the growth phase cycle. So, women will notice more hair growth during pregnancy. But when estrogen levels drop, whether after childbirth or perimenopause, menopausal situation, then we'll see shedding. So, personally, right after delivery, I'm brushing my hair and I've got, a lot more stuff coming out in my brush. And then now, menopausal, it's the same deal. The texture of my hair has changed. And I'm sure a lot of people have seen that. The other side of that is that not just estrogen, but androgens, which are testosterone and then testosterone breakdown. We call them derivatives. So what happens after testosterone is broken down in your body, causes your hair follicles to shrink and shorten. So, and this leads to thinning, specifically on the top of your head here, the crown, and then along, so here in the front and then along the side. So men can, will have we call male pattern baldness. So right here at the crown, and because there are changes going on with their hormones as well. But women who have issues with testosterone levels elevated will cause shortening and thinning of their hair.
What about that landing pad back there that men get that balding spot, like where it looks like a helicopter can land?
So you got the male pattern baldness where you get this right here, and then you got that, which is this is the crown. So that's the crown, and then you got the male pattern baldness. There's genetics involved in that too. So there's that's a whole nother discussion about how that pattern happens in certain men and not in others. Some men you see have full head of hair, and then others not so much. But the genetics are involved in that, in addition to the testosterone. But for women, both of those, estrogen and testosterone, the testosterone derivatives play a role in what happens with our hair.
We're talking with Dr. Whitney West about hormones and hair loss and the landing pad back there in the back. Now, Dr. West, before we go out here and start getting these hair replacements, what is something that we can do to help the hair loss, even though sometimes it's genetics?
Well, so there's another hormone involved too. So there's your thyroid hormone, and most people will think about that as like metabolism, like whether you're overweight or underweight. Well, your thyroid is either overactive or underactive when it's not normal, right? So, euthyroid is mean the numbers are normal and everything's working fine, but underactive means it's not doing what it's supposed to do, and overactive means it's doing too much. So those people who are having issues with thyroid will notice changes too, and they'll have issues with either weight, fatigue, skin changes, and that kind of thing. But thyroid also affects your hair. So underactive, you'll get thinning too. So we need to pay attention to all the other symptoms that are going on at the same time that we're having the hair changes, and then be evaluated. But ultimately, most of my talks, will center around a certain theme. So proper nutrition is huge, right? So if we're eating a poor diet, we're not getting in the right nutrients that will help with our hair. Iron, biotin, vitamin D, and zinc. Those are essential with hair and nails. So you'll see, supplementation on the counter if you go to your pharmacy, and it say skin, hair, and nails, because you'll need all of the things that we just talked about, the vitamin D and iron, and those will be the essential nutrients that you need, but you can get them from your food. So, like I said, we've talked about proper nutrition and proper sleep and decreasing stress, because the cortisol level from stress will cause changes in your hormones. And then, of course, then you get the domino effect with all of that. There are certain herbal supplements that have been shown to help, and these are, been studied, and there's clinical the backing of clinical studies that will prove that these things have worked. So saw palmetto is one, and then ashwagandha, so which also plays a role with stress and mood and that kind of stuff. So, but changing your diet, making sure you're getting in the proper nutrition, decreasing your stress level, and then supplementing where necessary, or getting treatment. Like I said, if your thyroid is out of whack, well, then we got to get that fixed.
Well, so with all the nutrition change, adjusting your diet, is that going to slow down the process of losing your hair?
Well, it can, if the reason for why you're losing your hair has to do with you being nutritionally deficient, and then hormonal balance. So getting your hormones back in track. So if it's your thyroid that's out of whack, or if you're, let's say, you're menopausal, then getting assistance with replacement if you are a candidate for that. And if you're not, then we'll figure out how to do, nutritional support if necessary. Now, after pregnancy, we always recommend that you continue prenatal vitamins for at minimum 6 weeks. And if you're breastfeeding, then you need to continue them as long as you breastfeed, so that you are replacing what you're losing by nourishing the baby. And you want quality breast milk and stuff like that. So if you're not eating enough healthy foods, you're not replacing what you're losing, then you're going to see the changes that happen, because your body's got to pull it from somewhere.
So if you are presently pregnant or just recently delivered, and your hair is changing and you're losing hair and everything, this is kind of a normal process because of the change in your hormones. But what if you're in a situation like me and your hair is just turning gray? What can you do, doctor? What can you do?
No, that's a whole dye.
I don't don't want to dye my hair anymore. I want to just keep it as is. And they say sometimes it's stress that's bringing your hair change to gray coloring, but also age.
Well, absolutely. So, but there's some people who prematurely gray. So that's a different situation. Yeah, that's a different situation than this hormonal change that is, allowing the changes that happen with loss, the shedding and then the growth and that kind of thing. That's the graying is a little bit different. I don't know if you guys, you probably remember, 2008 when Obama came to office, he had one look, and then, 8 years later, he looks very different.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say stress played a role in that.
When PT came to the radio show, I had one look, and here we are nearly a year later, I got another look.
Right. Look at that glow.
Thank you, Dr. West, for these great bits of information on what could be causing our hair change with hormones. And what is the best way to get in contact with you if people want to have a little more consultation?
My website is www.mdpc.com.
And what are your parting words?
Empower wellness. It is a journey, not a destination.
Residuals, Chris Brown, 94.1 WHRP. Tony in the morning. Tony, have you seen Genuine? Did you see the video of Genuine singing?
See it. Yes, I did.
Residuals?
Yeah.
Man.
I like Latasha Scott's rendition of it.
I haven't heard. Is it pretty good?
Ooh,
really?
That girl got a voice.
I got to hear that one. I got to hear that one.
Genuine, just stay in one spot on the stage.
Yes.
Don't jump. Stop singing other people's songs.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll say it. I know you won't say it. I'll say it.
I love R&B. And when Genuine
too.
did that, I said, why you do that? Wait.
You should have stuck with
I like it, Genuine.
I do too. Yeah.
So in other news, Tony, so we're talking about Tory Lanez had got stabbed while he was in prison.
And his lungs collapsed
14 times.
Yikes.
I think it was twice in the face, several in the back, and then in the chest as well. So it happened at around 7 o'clock yesterday morning. But the inmate that wound up stabbing Tory Lanez is a lifer. He's locked up in prison for for second-degree murder and murder.
Okay.
Been in there for years. What type of trouble does an R&B artist start in prison to where somebody that's sentenced to life and murder is after you?
That is insane. Why was he in the same? I don't know how the jails work, so I'll just be quiet. But why was he in the same space as a person that's a murderer?
I don't know.
Lifer? Because he, and I don't want to make light of what Tory Lanez did, because he's in jail because he allegedly, and they found him guilty of shooting Megan Thee Stallion in the foot.
Right.
So so now he's fighting for his life, basically.
Literally. He's out of ICU now. They say he's in stable condition. Still locked up, but stabbed 14 times. I don't even get when R&B artists into gang violence. I don't get that either, because you're an R&B artist. You shouldn't. I ain't saying you can't be hard, but
was that gang violence or was that domestic violence? Him shooting her.
That was domestic violence.
Right.
It's got to be gang violence in prison, though.
Today's best variety of R&B. 94.1 WHRP.
Jay Brown, 94.1 WHRP. Tony in the morning. And did you hear about the tax cuts that are happening? KK's been busy. Today she put into law the Focus law. I think that happened just a few minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
She was to sign that. That means that the kids can't take their phones into the classrooms and all that.
Man,
that's the Focus law.
Kiddos.
Yeah, so she did that. So now she's also talking about the state sales tax on several items purchased and for expected mothers and new mothers.
Okay.
So that's going to end those state taxes on feminine hygiene products.
Okay.
All right. And it's going to go into effect in September, but it's kind of good to know. Not only that, grocery taxes.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Now we talking business.
Now we're going to get that down to about 2%.
I like that. I like that. Yeah.
So that'll be helpful because we're getting ready to go through it with all of the tariffs, and you can imagine how expensive it is to purchase diapers, baby wipes, maternity, anything, clothing, and stuff like that. So they'll get a break on that. All right. And then food.
You can't. Yeah,
food.
That's good. That's good. Food.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of tax breaks and what we need and things going up, Tony, how far would you go not for your rent not to increase?
For it to not increase? I don't know.
Like, rent goes up every year for the most part.
What's on the table? What are the suggestions?
Options are moving.
Okay.
Burning your house down.
Oh my gosh.
Or just paying more.
It doesn't sound like there's anything.
It's not. Well, a 66-year-old man that lives in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Rent had went up, and he decides to go ahead and just burn the house down. So what he did was he got a bottle of whiskey, a lighter, and set fire to his apartment. And
what about everybody else that is adjacent to that apartment?
Not only that, but the ring cameras that are adjacent to the building that you just set fire to, kind sir.
Yeah.
So long story short, Clinton Hodges is in jail right now for arson for burning down his apartment
because the rent
went up.
Just move. Just move.
94.1 WHRP. Click the purple button at WHRPFM.com and listen live.
No more, 'cause I know what you came here for.
That's a new one from Neo. Show me. 94.1 WHRP. Tony in the morning. I'm DJ Primetime 256. Don't forget the 256. And now it's time for your motivation and inspiration.
Well, if you've ever been compared to others, know that you are unique within yourself. Simone Biles, who once said, I am not the next Usain Bolt or the Michael Phelps. I am the first Simone Biles. That does apply to you. You are your own unique self. That's your motivation and inspiration. 94.1 WHRP.